Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Laura Dulce. I'm the director of the Kennebunk-Kennebunkport-Arundel Chamber, and I want to welcome you to our webinar this morning. With us is Steve Atripaldi. He's a project manager for Northeast Mechanical and Energy Services. And Steve and I were just chatting. They cover much of the state, working with hotels, restaurants, industrial sites, nursing homes, any kind of commercial and industrial facilities. And Steve is here to talk to us today about keeping your businesses safe as far as your heating system goes, getting some air around, and all the things that people are concerned about as we head into the fall and winter. So welcome, Steve. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you so much, Laura. I appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. With these times with the pandemic and everything, trying to come up with some solutions of moving inside with what business you have. There are a few applications you can do. One is not costly, is changing out your filters in your heating and air conditioning systems, and that usually the basic filter is a MERV 8. And moving that to a MERV 13 is better. And I do have some information. I did put a little presentation here, kind of showing things. It is unfortunately what I found out a few weeks back is that the N95 mass, that material is the same material they make the MERV 13 filters out of, right? So there is a lead time on these filters, depending on the size of your filters, how many you need. There is, unfortunately, there is weeks of lead time to purchase these filters. But I did, one of our clients is Sebago Brewery Company, and we changed out all their restaurants to MERV 13 filters. And I was fortunate enough to go to, I think, 4 different supply houses and get all their filters. So it is a challenge of doing these, trying to get the best air quality in your space, and starting off with filters is a great step to move forward in having a better air quality inside your space. Now I just wanted to, so if I wanted to share my screen, Laura.
Yep.
Just go on the bottom here.
Yep, and you should be able to request sharing your screen.
Okay. Share. Most disabled participant. Okay. And is that coming up, Laura, at all?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. That's interesting. Reactions. I'll get my. Oh, there we go. Share. Okay. Okay, does everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So this is just your basic heating and air conditioning systems. It's just a definition. There's other systems, but these are the kind of the 3-4 basic ones. We have your rooftop unit, package unit. This will be on the roof or on the ground, and it's a package unit with gas heat and compressors, electrical powered. Most businesses have these, And then you have a split system that is a air handler inside with a condensing unit outside. And then on the bottom here is a ductless split heat pump, and everybody, that's kind of the, the big thing. Oh, you got a heat pump. Heat pumps have been around since the probably mid 50s. The big thing with them recently, within the past 10 years, the cost effectiveness of these and the technology of running one of these is very high efficiency. And then we have a PTAC unit, which these are in the hotel guest rooms. Everybody probably stayed in a hotel have seen these. And this is a closed system. Some of them do have some outside air, but most of them really don't. They'll bring them just a little bit, but this is all electric. It's heating and cooling, electric heat as well. And then on here is the makeup air unit. You'd see these on restaurants with hoods. This one particularly has cooling, and these are the condensing units on top, and there's a evaporator coil inside here that produces cooling for the space. And also these units, makeup air units, are for the newer hotels to balance out the air pressure inside of the building space. And then you're going to go to HEPA filters, high efficiency particle air filters. Everybody's probably heard of these, probably shop vacs and things like that. And that's a MERV 16 rated filter. And I just want to, and this is I don't know how good I took these. I took these off from the web. So you can see it goes all the way up to 20, from 1 to 20, and you get to like 13, and it gives the basic, and you can get this info online. It's available online. If you just went to Google MERV rating chart, all these charts would come up.
Steve, when we were doing some research to figure out our own building, I read somewhere that a lot of systems, even though you know that 13 and above is what you need, some systems can't take filters that high. Is that true?
That is true. If it's depending on the different systems, if you probably have a split system there, you have an air handler inside. Yep. Okay. So, and it probably takes a 1-inch thick filter. Maybe.
I think it's a little thinner. I think it's a smaller.
Okay, so yeah. The smaller filters, you probably only can get like a MERV 8 or a MERV 10 on the 1-inch or a 3 1/4 inch. Unfortunately, now there is some ways that you, depending on the system, the filter cage, that might be able to, you might be able to change that out from a 1-inch to a 2-inch filter, depending on if you have that option on your system.
I guess my question is, if I'm, working and just a small business owner, it's probably not a great idea for me to just say, oh, I'm going to go get a MERV 20, pop it into my system. That's probably something they need to consult with a professional on, just to get the right.
Absolutely. So if you start going in, into the 20s, the 18s, the 17s, so it's a thicker filter, which is going to restrict your airflow, and which will result in low flow of air through your unit, and your evaporator coil will start freezing up. And that would be your AC coil. It'll be icing up because it's restricted with the airflow. Okay. Most manufacturers have a list on the models. You can get that info online as well. If it's a carrier, you can put the model serial number in, and that's what I do constantly. It's like, how can I? What's the rating? The most rating I can do. So it is a challenge with some of these units that you only can do a MERV 8, or we don't recommend putting a MERV 13. You can try it and see what happens. Inspect it after it runs for a few hours, and take it from there. So it is challenging of trying these days of where we are. And trying to do some retrofitting and trying to make the best air quality in your systems. And let's see here. And this is this is an inside of a UV light. So this is a picture looking inside of an air handling unit. It's on the supply side, so the airflow, it's a great little picture right here. This shows you, this is the return side. And this is basically, this could be a air handler or a rooftop unit. And so you have the air coming through, it goes through your filters. Then this is your coil, your air conditioning coil. And if it also had heat, the heat coil would be here as well. Side here, and these are the UV lights, the rack lights right here, and then the flow back into the building on the supply side. Just kind of give you a little idea of what's going on with these UVs. All the hospitals pretty much are using these. They've been using these for a while. The technology has gotten better on them. And the cost has come down as well on these.
Now they've been using those before COVID-19 came on the scene?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. All hospitals, there's all these standards for air quality in hospitals, health facilities, even museums as well. Because of their archival collections, humidity control, and every building has a different standard that they need to comply with. For instance, like a museum, 72 degrees, 50% relative humidity for the collections. And we're just going to go there. This is another pictures of showing the disinfection of the UVs. Up top here is inside of an air handler, so that would be on a split system. This is the A coil, which produces cooling, and this is how you would mount the UV light shining over this coil to disinfect and to get rid of the germs and the bacteria on that coil. On the bottom here is basically a package unit, a rooftop unit, and you can see the UV lights on the coils. And they also, you have the option of putting UV lights right in your ducting supply, so that air comes through. This is your return, air comes through, hits the filter racks, goes through your cooling coil, and goes through those UVs, and there's a blower right here supplying air through the supply ducting, and then it goes through another.
I think you might be a little frozen there, Steve.
System, which they're pretty nice, and this is pretty how they are applying their lights to their equipment. Is it coming out all right?
Yep. You just kind of
Yeah.
froze for a second or two, but you're back.
Okay, great. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's technology.
Yeah, right. And this is interesting. I just snapped a picture of this. So this is a cafeteria area, and you can see on the back wall, these are actually UV fixtures that are mounted on the wall. Now we don't, and these look like your supply air from the ducting as well as right up above here. This is something that your electricians would install. We wouldn't be installing these. It would be through electrical company that would install these, and they just mount right underneath those supply diffusers. And this is we were talking about this earlier, Laura. So this is looking inside of an ice machine, and you can see up here the UV light on the evaporator coil right here to keep that clean. And you can actually put them into the bin too, looking down, shining on to the ice as well before it gets taken out. And that's my card. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to give me a shout.
Yep. So, Steve, a couple of questions.
Yeah, please.
If there's a small business owner watching and they just need some tips on, they don't even know where to begin. Where do they start with this, figuring out how to make things healthier?
Well, they talk to their mechanical contractor and see what they have for a system. I mean, it's amazing how many people don't know what they have for heating and cooling systems, and sometimes, in some cases, they don't even know how they get heat. It's we got a couple of we do a bunch of national accounts, and they'll call up for a service call, like, okay, what type of heat do you have? Do you have gas or oil? Like, we don't know. We have no idea. We don't deal with that. We know that it's cold and we need heat. and so we'll get 5% of the time it is gas. So them contacting their mechanical contractor, their HVAC, refrigeration company, and asking them of what do I have for filters? What system do I have? What are my options? How can I make my space have better air quality? Or they can reach out to us, and we come out and do an evaluation and just see what you have and see what we could do for you.
I know some people kept mentioning that their systems are really old. Is that a particular challenge when you have some of these older buildings, multiple systems, things like that?
Yes, it can be challenging. We have again, hotels which have PTEC units, ductless split heat pump units, makeup air units, and rooftop units, and split systems. So they have all four of them. So it's like, okay, where do you want to begin here? The guest rooms, for the PTEC units, they just like a ductless split, they actually make a light strip that goes right across that evap coil. When you put that in there, that is on, and so you do get light through here. So it's so you're in the guest room and they don't really want to see a light shining through their PTEC unit, especially when they're trying to sleep. So they've one of our hotels got these UV lights that they're like a desk lamp that go on the desk or the bureau that's in the guest room. and they use that. And when the client or the guest wants to go to sleep, they'll just go over and shut it off.
Okay.
Pretty easy. So there is a lot of different UV equipment coming out because of the pandemic. So there is a lot. So it is, to try to find out what you have, what you need, how can we make this better for our business. It starts with getting in touch with your mechanical contractor or giving us a call. We'll come out and we'll take a look at it and evaluate what the steps would be.
Mm-hmm. I think Elena has a question.
I have a quick question. So,
Sure.
is there, with everyone gearing up for the winter, is there a delay on anything or things back? How long is usually the process pending the system? Just because I know that there's even a delay on appliances right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. There is. So for the filters, for instance, the MERV 13s, they're made out of the N95 mass material. So I went to one supply house and I asked them for, MERV 13s, and they kind of chuckled and said, we're about 6 to 8 weeks to get those filters. And I was like, eh. So there's not just one, filter company that makes filters. So I had to go around to 3 or 4 supply houses, and each one I got those filters for my client. And then the UV on the commercial side of things, the UV lamps that would go into rooftop units or inside ducting or a split system, those are some of them are 10 to 12 weeks out. At this point, they're just so backlogged and so overwhelmed with production that they're behind. And even just equipment in general, like a rooftop unit, just the manufacturing of it. I just got for a client a package unit, and it took about 14 weeks. And it's interesting.
Right.
And that's what I think it was Aon. They had an outbreak. They're out of Texas, so they shut the whole plant down for like 2-3 weeks, and nothing got built. And then they cleaned everything up and came back, and they were more backlog because the orders just keep on coming in. So it is a very challenging time to get this equipment, but it is out there, and it's available, but you might have to wait a few.
People, we're in Maine, so winter's right around the corner. So people need to act now to have sufficient, to cover them for the winter, because if we're looking at it, we're looking at potentially December installs for certain things. So if they want to get through the winter, action needs to be taken now.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I've been working with clients since this is kind of broke out, back late, it's mid-spring, and throughout the summertime. It is something that you want to jump on if you're interested and concerned. And it does take some time.
Is there anything that they can do until they can get this done? Can they, prop open a door? Is there some other way until, say, there's that much of a lag time? What can they do to keep themselves and their employees and their customers safe in the meantime?
Yeah, well, opening the doors is definitely, you're bringing outside air into the space. The big thing is, making sure your equipment is cleaned. Your coils are cleaned, your air handles are cleaned, your filters are getting changed out. If your filter, you have a MERV 8 and they need replacing, replace them with a MERV 8.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to wait for a MERV 13. It is a, you know, challenging time, especially being up here in Maine, New England for that matter, with the weather changing and trying to figure out. I know a lot of folks are doing the outside heaters and keeping the you know, the outside, especially for restaurants, the outside dining, going with the you know, the propane heaters, outside heaters.
Yeah, I've seen more of them.
So those are a lot of people want those, and I've heard that those are a few weeks out as well. A lot of people, I think, like Home Depot, Lowe's, they're like completely sold out of them. I know some of them. Yeah. So it's very, you know, trying to, you know, having the door open, trying to do outside seating, you know, making sure your systems are clean, and what you need to do to make it better for the customers coming in and for the staff.
Yeah. Okay, well, anything else you want to pass along to anyone? Any other words of advice, Steve, before we let you go this morning?
I would just, you know, make sure your systems, you know what you have for systems, you know what that they're clean. They've been what we call PM service, and that stands for preventative maintenance, and that's going through your system, changing the filters, belts, cleaning the inside of the system, cleaning the coils, and you know, just keeping on top of your systems. You know, you know, we've come to some places that, you know, real old systems, they've, you know, haven't paid attention to these systems, and they need to. Is like, yeah, you need to do X, Y, and Z. You really do. And it's not, you know, it's the air quality, but it's also the life of your system.
Right.
If you don't take care of it, it's, you know, I always use the analogy of if you bought a new car and you just put gas in it and just drove it and never washed it, never changed the oil, what would it look like in a year? Yeah.
Not so good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Steve. We really appreciate you being with us this morning, and we will definitely be sharing this with people so they know how to keep themselves safe.